finger injuries, motherfucker! As some of you may remember, I got myself a finger injury. Now, I've been in total peace and harmony with this fact for a very long time, for it is just a fact, neither good nor bad, just a fact. And so here is my update. I think I first mentioned the injury in my 50-month update video, basically saying I'd hurt my A2 pulley and my ring finger here. I was doing rehab, it was going well, and it was going well, but that quickly changed. Literally the next day after I filmed that update, things went bad. So at that point I hadn't been climbing in 2 weeks, so I thought, right, good idea to go. Rehab had been going well, let's get back into climbing, get into the swing of things again. So I went climbing, open-handed everything, and the pulley was good. You know, it's kind of maybe a little bit tender, but just like normal. Just open-handed and just put so little strain on it that it was pretty good. Then came back home and thought, it's pretty good. Let me do a no-hang session, just with a half crimp. So got no-hang device loaded up. I warmed up for it a little bit, and progressively put on some more weights, like started with 25, then 30, 35, then 40 kilos, just in a half crimp. And it was definitely hard to finish those sets. Just obviously just been climbing, just came back, so muscles were a bit weak. So, because I did 40 kilograms before, but comparing to that, it was a little bit harder, just given the fatigue. But it was okay. I mean, I've got my, as I wanted to, I've got my A2 a bit tender, so just hitting that recovery process, initiating some more recovery. It's kind of just maybe a bit too hard, but right around where I think it needs to be. So yeah, all was going well. And then the next day I decided to do another no-hang session. Well. Just the thinking was, just keep pushing this pulley, see how far I can kind of push the rehab process, how intense can I go. And so yeah, no hang, half crimp. This time I only managed, just progressively over the sets, getting harder and harder, and I only managed to get to 35 kilos, and that was a struggle. Basically the last, I was dipping into that 2% last determination, just desperately trying to hold on for the full 10 seconds. I do manage it, but definitely a big struggle. Just going right to the edge there, form was breaking down, and yeah, so session gets finished there, and I just do my usual, start feeling around, and the A2 is not too bad, it's definitely tender, maybe dipping into soreness even, but you know, nothing crazy. Then I continue to press around and notice my ring left hand A2 is sore. And this one, I had previously injured it, but it had been perfect for months. Now pressing around, it's fucked. Middle finger, never even had a hint of tenderness, nothing sore, nothing tender ever. Pressing around, tender, it's fucked. And to make things even better, the next day I wake up and my joints, my dip and pip joints, and maybe half of my fingers are sore, so they're feeling strained and stiff. Yeah. So to summarise, in 2 days I managed to ruin my fingers. Ow. And the first thing to do is just to realise the mistakes I made here. Kind of the first biggest one was just packing in way too much, like training stress, and within pretty much like 24 hours or just over 24 hours. Basically it was a multi-hour, like maybe 2.5 hour bouldering session, then no hang, half crimp up to 40 kilos, and then the next day no hang up to 35 kilos. Just too much stress in too little time, and just not allow, in a sense these things are fine, but I just did not allow any recovery time at all. I just went from one stressor to the next stressor to the next stressor, and that's just not enough time to recover within 24 hours, and so of course I messed up. So that's kind of the big first major mistake I made. And this was to basically let my half crimp form drop. So basically in this situation I'm slowly, eccentrically loading an already strained pulley, or at my near muscular max, and just letting that additional strain happen that is not good. I realised that, you know, if you cannot keep good form, just stop the exercise. It's that simple. If your form is slipping, then exercise is too hard or using too much weight. Just stop. Simple as that. Accept it and move on. And this one's somewhat related to the last one, but it's about giving like 100% effort in something. And so I've been doing a little bit of reading on powerlifting and just like their training methods and stuff. And it seems like the powerlifters that are there for the longest, making the most gains over time, generally do not give 100% in their training. They just knock it back a little bit to like 90-95%, and they save the 100% for competition. And so for, I guess, climbers, boulderers, it is like the project you're trying to send. That's when you save your 100% all-out effort. And for me, I was dipping into that last 5%, last 2%, whatever it was, and just doing total max determination. I just had to hold for 10 seconds, that was it, nothing else mattered. And yeah, that is stupid. That is where you don't care, and I felt it. I kind of realised at the time I just did not care. My form was slipping. I just 100% focus on holding that, and yeah, that is definitely a big major mistake. And the reality is, any one training session just does not matter. It is stacking successful training sessions one after the other over the course of like years is what makes the big difference. So any one doesn't matter, and yeah, you cannot stack training sessions if you're injured, so it's high priority. And this one's about me realising that doing no hangs or fingerboard training is a lot more intense than it appears at first. Because, you know, you take this edge, this one's 20 mil, and you think, that's quite chunky. I mean, in the scheme of things, it's like a full pad pretty much. That's a chunky hold. I've definitely climbed in much smaller holds. And then I look at the weight I'm doing, it's like 40 kilograms. Doesn't seem that much, a lot less than body weight. But when you actually break it down, it does make a lot of sense. So when I'm climbing on these maybe smaller holds, I've usually got 2 feet supporting my weight and probably another hand. And so even though that edge is a lot smaller, the total like weight force going through that one hand is probably not that much. And so I think this creates an illusion that this isn't very intense, but when you break it down like that, all that weight is going through just one hand, and that is basically intense. It's kind of a subtle intensity, at least I didn't realise at first, but it's definitely a step up probably from. Another thing is, when you're doing like actual routes and problems, there's so many other factors that cause you not to do that problem. Like you don't quite latch the hold properly, your foot slips, your body position isn't right, so you fall outwards and you come off this way rather than that way. And so, whereas when you do this kind of training, the only way you fail is your muscles become fatigued and weak, and this is how you either, you just cannot hold your form and stop like smart training person, or like me, just do it like forever. And yeah, so I realised that one much more intense than I thought, and I need to then just make little tweaks in my head and adjust. So this happened back in mid-June, and kind of for the 2 weeks after that, all I did was you guessed it, the finger terminator. Just doing like 20 reps of this, a light resistance, then cranking up the resistance, doing maybe 20 more, do that a couple more times, maybe once or twice a day. Basically just to get your fingers going through a range of motion, just feeling the load, so that as these tissues are healing, they experience a bit of load and realise that need to come back stronger. So I kind of did that for 2 weeks. Definitely the joints, pulleys were a little bit better, still obviously quite tender, but not too bad, definitely felt manageable. But definitely the joints were just still a bit feeling strained, and just not good, still a bit stiff as well. But yeah, definitely felt good enough to increase intensity, so just went to no hangs, and at first all I did was 3-finger open hand. Just doing weights for that. Probably did that for the next couple of weeks, and then for the last month I've now introduced back half crimps. So started off with 30 kilos, and that got the pulleys nice and tender, and then yeah, probably just most recently I'm now up to like 37.5 kilos, so there's definitely progress happening. Pulleys are feeling pretty good. The only one that's now consistently sore or tender is my left ring A2. Basically from doing that like 37.5 kilos, half crimp, this one pretty good, the middle feels good, it's just the ring. And with actual climbing, I've not been doing too much recently, but when I do go, it's pretty much the same story. There's still a little bit of strain in my joints, and it's really just the left ring A2 that gets a bit tender towards the end of the session. So, but overall, I can see the progress, it's happening, I can feel it, it's good, and yeah, I just need to keep this progress happening, keep it nice, slow and steady, and hopefully my mistakes can be a lesson or a reminder for people to avoid them. I know I definitely will in the future, and thanks for watching.